Welcome back everyone to the Grand Hour video podcast series produced by LUXUO Vietnam. We are happy to welcome Mr. Jimmy Lopez. Our pleasure.
Thank you very much for having me, Jason. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. How are you today, sir?
Very good, thank you. Very good. It's a very nice place and great to be here. Feeling very good.
Yeah. We're gonna start the interview right now. So the first part of the interview, we're gonna talk about your career journeys and philosophy. Jimmy, can you share with us the journeys of hospitality industry and what were your defining moment that shaped your approach as a hotelier?
Thank you very much. It all started back in France, where I'm originally from. I was born and raised in a small town near Paris, and I moved on to Paris, where I studied culinary. As a matter of fact, and then in my early 20s, I was 19 years old, I moved to the UK, and this is where I first experienced working in a hotel. So I joined the Waldorf Meridian in London, and funny enough, that was for a night shift in room dining. My English level was back then very, very poor. And I was struggling to actually, have any decent interaction with the guests. So nevertheless, they gave me a chance and enrolled me into their teams. But again, working overnight in room dining. What it meant is that I had to, by myself at night, pick up the phone when it rang, taking the order, liaising with the culinary team, to have the food ready and then deliver up to the rooms. It was very exciting because for the first time in my life, I actually was experiencing what it meant to be working in a hotel. The collaboration that is required amongst different departments, different divisions, to actually create an experience and deliver hospitality for the people that were paying to stay. So that started then, and this is when I got the bug. I say, this is what I want to do for a living. The environment was so nice. The connections I made, with the peers, the people I've met, and talking to the guests was just, a brilliant experience. So this was the defining moment for me to say, this is what I want to do. That's when I discovered my calling to become an hotelier. Very little I knew that 30 years down the line, I would be managing a very large integrated resort in central Vietnam with 1,200 rooms, over 20 restaurants, and a very large team of over 1,000 associates. But it all started there. Defining moments, I think it's really, the people you meet along the way, the mentors. I think it's very important for very early on in your career to find those that are genuinely concerned about your development, who you are going to become as a person, understand the opportunities, they see the potential in you and push you toward this betterness, and there are a few people that I've met along the way. One gentleman called Mark Denton helped me very, very early on in my career. He's worked, all over the world, a Swiss hotelier. Jean-Claude Wetzel, also now a senior vice president for the Four Seasons Hotel Group, was my food and beverage manager back in Thailand in the early 90s. And many more along the way. But very early on, those two really pushed me to come out of my shelf, of my shy shell, to expose myself, take calculated risk, and progress toward a career in hospitality.
Oh, excellent sharing. So what is your philosophy when it's come to managing a luxury hotels?
I think it all comes down to the culture. You have to install a culture of greatness, of transparency, commitment to excellence, and genuine hospitality. No matter how good you are, you can't do by yourself, and you need to surround yourself with people that have the same desire to excel day in and out in whatever they do. So it all comes down to identify the right people, understanding their potential, and then, so that goes through the interview process. Then the onboarding, whenever the new team join our group, we need to be crystal clear about our values, our culture, what we want to achieve collectively, and then make sure that we implement this on daily basis. This is the secret of leading a luxury resort: is getting everybody involved, giving the freedom of the peers, the colleagues, the associates to excel, to take risks, to make mistakes, to learn from it, most importantly. But it's to have everybody involved and facing toward the same direction with the same goal. So this is the secret.
Awesome. Because I'm talking to many general managers of hotel and resorts around Vietnam, and you are the first one that's saying that you have the right to make mistakes. So that's a good point for me. Yeah,
I mean, it would be silly not to see it otherwise. I think nobody is born with the instinct to do great all the time. We are dealing with a very, very broad range of nationalities. But majority of my team members have never left Quang Nam province. So of course, we need to understand the people's point of view, their culture, their background. We have a very broad also age group, from the Gen Z to maybe older generations. Each and every one of our guests have different expectations, different needs, different wants, seeking different experiences. And our job is to learn from every single one of these interactions. Whenever we make a mistake, because sometimes we do, is acknowledge, correct, rectify, and do better the next time. I think it's not looking back into the mirror, it's looking forward and again getting better every single time, every opportunity given.
That's the point. Okay, so Mr. Jimmy, what does the luxury truly mean to you in the context of guest experience today?
Luxury in the context of guest experience today means to me to cater to the individual. As I said earlier, every single one of our guests has different wants and needs, and we need to be attuned to what those needs and wants are. There is no such thing as a formula to make every single guest happy. So again, is seeking opportunities for us to understand what those needs and wants are. You could be coming with a family, so having young kids would need that you probably need some help taking care of them. You could be with a group of friends, so maybe a more energetic and vibrant environment will be required for you. You can be on a peaceful retreat where you just want some peace and quiet, grab a book, watch the beautiful Sham Island from your balcony. So again, there's no such thing as one formula to fit all. Our job in luxury is again to cater to every individual needs, paying attention to the clues that the guests are telling us, unspoken word that might lead to us delivering an experience that goes beyond the expectations. This is what it truly means to me.
Based on what you just shared, do you guys do a little bit homework or background check on the guests before they come in? Right?
We do, absolutely. Again, we have a very large Hoiana Resort and Golf is a very large complex with 4 different hotels. And on any given day, we'll have 2,000 guests in a resort. But yes, we do. We have the tools. We have the technology nowadays to do a bit of a background search. But we also have a prior check-in. We are reaching out to the people that are going to stay to really understand if they have any specific needs, so that we can preempt those requests prior arrival. Could be as simple as, I don't know, wanted a higher floor, a specific view for the returning guests. They know the resort. They would want a booking at certain restaurants, etc. So that's prior arrival. During the stay, again, it's paying attention, genuinely listening to throughout the conversations, the interactions that we have with our guests, to what they say, or even the unspoken words that are again going to lead us to finding a way to make their stay magical. And post departure, it's really following up by asking simple questions, sentiment questions. We don't have a long list of questions. Hey, please, on the scale of 1 to 10, and no, it's really 4 or 5 questions where we try to understand, the sentiment of their stay. If that leads to the guests wanting to explore more and develop, then we can certainly, listen and explore those opportunities. Also, we have throughout a system, we are working with a system that allows our team to reach out to you should you wish to be contacted through social media platforms, any platform of your choice. So by simply scanning a QR code, you are in contact directly with our call center. It could be through WeChat, Yellow, it could be Facebook, it could be Instagram, it could be WhatsApp, it could be any platform of your choice. And you can interact with us in any languages that you care for. So the technology allows us, to receive your message, understand who you are, and translate, the language you're talking to us, and then, reply within a minute or less. So you don't need to pick up the phone, you don't need to dial, you don't need to come down to the reception. You can do all of this, but on top of it, you also have the opportunity to reach out to us directly, to have your personal butler in the language of your preference on the channel of your choice. So those are the tools that are nowadays available to hoteliers to really become familiar with the needs of individuals and reach out and cater to them on a personal level.
Excellent. That's the first time I heard that there's so many things, to support the customer service in your hotel, especially like application of technologies.
Correct.
So the second part of the interview, we're talking about your leadership and your team culture. So how do you train and inspire your team to consistently deliver the high standards of services?
So there's no finish line. There's not one training and say, okay, it's done and now we can move on and we're going to do something else. The culture is the most important. It's at the heart of everything we do. We have 5 core values, which are transparency, ownership, passion, innovations, and collaborations. Every single one of our days that we come to work, we need to embrace these values, and we need to make sure that collectively, again, we aim for one goal. So I would not say that we have a training program that has A, B, C, and then you are done. It's really, again, going through the programs in terms of required skill set to perform in your specific duties, but most importantly, the mindset of wanting to genuinely care for the individual, for the guest, caring with the utmost attention to what is being said to us, again, so that we can adjust some of our policies, sometimes our practices. Nowadays, not everything in one persona. So it's very important that we have a culture of circling back, sharing, feedback. So whenever we receive what we debrief, what we could have done better in this situation, what worked, and then adjust accordingly. So it's again, the culture is at the heart of everything that we do.
All right. So far as I know, like Hoiana Resorts and Hotels is a big complex of luxury hotels, restaurants, and So tell me more about your team. Who are they, and what do you think about your team?
I have the most amazing team in the entire Vietnam. I am blessed to have a very young workforce. 65% of our associates are below 30 years old. That means often they are fresh graduate, not necessarily hospitality graduate. And every single one of them whether they work in front office, engineering, sales and marketing, human resources, whichever department they choose to pursue a career in. I've been selected, I've been handpicked for this specific project. We have in the past we've been now operating for about 5 years. Some of them have completed the journey with us, went on to explore other options, and many have returned. For me, it's a testament to what we do very well. It's creating again a culture of togetherness where we just are happy to come to work. So when I say that I'm blessed with the team, the commitment, I read every single day the hundreds of feedback that we receive from our guests on social medias, on personal notes, and a majority of them, a very large majority of them, is to praise the service and the team. The connections, the personal connection they've made, and what amazed me is that we don't wear name tag, yet they remember the name of the waiters that served them at breakfast, the lifeguard that helped them, around the pool, the name of the engineer that came to fix a light bulb in a room. So even though we have language barrier, the ability for associates to connect on a personal level with our hotel guests amazes me every day. I think you need to be very genuine in wanting to do well and caring very much for your job. No matter how small the task you are doing, no matter how small sometimes you feel your job is, there's no such thing as a small job. Everybody is playing a part in these puzzles, and everything needs to fit together to work. Majority of our associates are also coming from central Vietnam, as far as Hue, but primarily from Da Nang and Quang Nam. And we have a good mix of ladies and gentlemen, I would say 50-50. So it's a great mix of different genders, very young age force. So it's amazing to be working with them.
What you just described that make me one day I should come to Hoiana to experience that sometime. So moving on to the next part with guest experience and personalization. So how do you ensure each guest receive a personal touch, even if Hoiana is such large scale of integrated resort?
The way we do ensure that each guest receives a personal service at Hoiana Resort and Golf is by involving every single one of our associates in the commitments to deliver this personal experience. It cannot be outsourced to one specific department. It cannot be only for the front office or the guest relation experience. We need to rely on every single one of our associates. Therefore, culture again is the most important. It's to live in day out, a mindset of wanting to do better, wanting to offer this extra little gesture, so if you come for breakfast in the morning, is remembering your preferences. If you decide to go to town, suggesting a local restaurant. When people reach out to us prior arrival, is ensuring that we have a set of activities that is being offered to them, to the youngest one, and again listening to the feedback, understanding what is being said about us, where we have areas for opportunities for to do better, and act upon it. So getting everyone involved, listening to what is being said to us, and taking action upon it.
All right. So be more specifically, can you share a recent example of a memorable guest interaction that reflect the Hoiana spirit of hospitality?
There are so many. Specifically, one recently is we've hosted the Miss Universe Australia pageant contest a few years in a row, and one of the contestants from the previous year decided to come back with her parents because she had such a great time, with a group of pageant that she wanted to come with her parents to experience, the Vietnamese hospitality. And upon learning that, the team had prepared collections of pictures, that were taken, with her in a resort, and they lined it up in a room. They had on the first day of arrivals, the favorite amenities, and we also had a book on Vietnam that was signed by a lot of associates, and the photograph that put this book together. So a lot of very, very small touches. The letter that I've received, from this couple upon departure was really very moving, because they remember every single one of each interaction that they had with our associates. Some of our team members came back on their day off to be with his family, to take them to their own village, to show them, the true sense of place, what Vietnam is all about. Yeah. I know one afternoon they took them on the back of a scooter, and you can't be more real than that. Right. Through the rice field, to the rice paddies, to the local restaurants, and when you have this kind of commitment from your team, say, listen, you know what, it's my day off, but these specific guests, they want to experience what Vietnam is all about, what the real Vietnam is all about. Coming back and taking your own time to do that and build again this connection with the individual, for me, is just mind blowing. So I'm again just very I'm moved, I'm touched, because just thinking about it and the effort one can think it might take, but for them it was just natural. I found that really amazing, truly amazing.
Awesome. So pickleball is a new sport in Vietnam, and I heard that Hoiana is the very first resort in central Vietnam that have a very decent pickleball courses, right?
Yes. Well, thank you very much. We do actually have 8 courts, yeah. 4 indoor and 4 outdoors. Interestingly enough, we started the pickleball journey about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and I must admit that I had no idea what pickleball was. So the first time, the team brought it up, I said, hey, you know what? How about some pickleball court? At the beginning, I had no idea what they were talking about. So, we started to talk about it and debrief, and we had a space, that could accommodate such an area. And sure enough, when we built the courts, it met immediate success. So yeah. We have not only guests staying in the hotel, staying in house, that are using the pickleball, but we also have a lot of teams from Da Nang, from Hoi An, that come and compete against each other weekly at the end of the week. So yeah, it's a great addition to our many existing facilities, and more to come. So no, very, very exciting.
Yeah, think about some tournament, international tournament. People will come.
Yes, we had, as a matter of fact, can't remember exactly the name of the tour, but we had a young Vietnamese player, super good, very, very good.
Yeah.
She became our ambassador, and she was part of the tournament that brought in a lot of nationalities, primarily within Asia. Yeah. But yes, puts me to shame, because I tried a couple of times and I thought I was somewhat okay, but seeing them play makes me realize that it's a long way for me to go and excel at this sport.
All right. Moving on, we're talking about operational strategies and food and beverage. So with 20 restaurants and bars across Hoiana complex, what is your vision for shaping the culinary experience here?
So, of course, over the years, we did not open all the restaurants at once. Our journey in opening the resort has been a 5-year, journey where we open different hotels, different restaurants, and the strategy is really trying to first offer a sense of genuine experience. So when you come to Vietnam, you want to eat Vietnamese food, and you want it to be as genuine as possible. So it's really working with the chefs to understand, what are the spices, what are the ingredients, source locally as much as possible. We have a team committed to really working with local farmers, fishermen, and so on. We also have our little garden within the resort for small production of herbs and chilies and things like that. So that was the first phase. Then again, because we have a very broad audience, very large nationalities, every single one of our nationalities have different needs. One of the most important is the breakfast. Everybody has breakfast, and each culture has different needs for breakfast. Maybe Europeans will care for something sweet, whereas Asian will want something savory, the noodles. So we have a very, very good selection of these dishes, available for what is the most important meal of the day. For all the restaurants, it's really trial and error. We open restaurants, we do as best as we can, and again, we listen to the feedback. Some of them are instant success, and some requires a little bit of tweaking on the recipes, on the price positioning, on the strategy. So we've been extremely successful at our food and beverage offering, and we have a capture ratio of I think every single guest that stays around eat at least 2.5 times in a resort. Being very close to Hoi An, also we are very lucky because we are so close to Hoi An. We're just a 15 minutes drive.
Wow.
So we're on a stretch of 4-kilometer beachfront, pristine beachfront, yet very, very close to Hoi An. So we want the guests to go to Hoi An, experience such a beautiful little town, but yet when they come back to the resort, for the length of their stay, they go to our restaurants. We have from Korean to Chinese to Italian to steakhouse, noodle house. We have now an ongoing promotions on Japanese food. We have casuals, we have fine dining, we have poolside. So it's really, really a wide array that can cater to all budgets, all needs, and all cravings as well. So it's very good.
A lot of resorts in Vietnam, they try to have some fine dining, some Michelin star, and celebrity chefs. So what about Hoiana?
All my chefs are celebrities, in my eyes, right? They all do very well. I attended 2 weeks ago the ceremony, the Michelin ceremony that took place in Da Nang. It is clear to me that Michelin's visions right now is to foremostly look at big cities, Da Nang, Ho Chi Minh, and Saigon and Hanoi. They have not yet visited the Quang Nam province and Hoi An specifically. I hope they do, because there are really little gems of restaurants with incredible chefs that are using local produce and maybe not 2 Michelin star level, but recommendation surely up to a Michelin star. Our strategy is not to necessarily acquire a Michelin for the statue. If we are being given one for some of our restaurants, we have an incredible Chinese restaurant that is in part to some of the best that I've tried overseas. We have a very good Korean restaurant. Our Vietnamese offering is traditional. So if you care for a very genuine experience, then we are in par with this demand. And again, it's really sourcing the best produce, trying to be grounded to our root to Vietnam, reduce our footprint as much as possible, and working with the community. So we have a lot of suppliers, a farmer that we work with, fishermen. There's about 10 minutes drive from us, a little romery called Sampan. And those two guys, a couple of years back, they decided that they were going to produce rum in central Vietnam. So they harvest the sugar cane, they create the rum. Right. They are award-winning, global awards for their produce. So, we will not be importing rum all the way from Jamaica or the Caribbean, when next to us we have one of the finest produce that you can find. So this is our strategy, really working with local suppliers.
Thank you for sharing. How do you balance the operational excellence with the creativity and innovation?
It's again giving the freedom to the chefs to come up, with suggestions. We have an incredible culinary director, Italian guy, Omar, the guy who puts it together. But again, we need to give in every single one of our kitchens the freedom to our chefs to say, hey, I want to try this. I was talking to the guests today, and they mentioned about this recipe. I want to give it a try. Again, really not dictating a strategy, but listening to feedback, empowering our team member, our chefs, let them creativity, shine, and that's the best course of action for us.
Now we're gonna move to strategic vision and future direction. So, Mr. Jimmy, what do you think about Vietnam can do to elevate the global standing as a luxury travel destination?
Thank you, Jason. That's a very, very good question. It puzzles me that there's not more tourism, into Vietnam. Vietnam has everything. The talents, the food, the culture, the landscape, the accessibility, the diversity. For me, it's got all the boxes ticked. Prior pandemic, the growth year over year in terms of visitations was nearing double digit. So the expansions, was tremendous. COVID put a stop to all of this, but I see it's repeating and it's growing again. I think what Vietnam needs to do, it's similarly to Thailand 20 years ago, have a strong motto, have a strong, visions to develop tourism, create campaigns, attend fairs, globally. I was recently on a business trip to Australia, and every single person that I talked to say, oh, where are you from? I say, oh, I currently live in Vietnam. Oh, Vietnam, it's so nice. I want to go. It's amazing. Because there's a Vietnamese community living in Australia that are sharing, their culture, their food, and the desire, the appetite for Australians to come together with many more nationalities. When I go back home to France, and everybody is talking about Vietnam, and so I think it's really awareness, foremostly, from the authorities that are governing, the tourism industry in Vietnam, to be louder about, this is what we have to offer. We don't need to create anything. It's a country that is blessed with so many resources that have a very, very strong appeal for tourism. So participating to exhibitions, fairs, being united, I don't think I know it should be, going solo or Da Nang or Saigon. It's really, coming together with Phu Quoc and some of the islands. Say, hey, this is who we are. This is what we have to offer. And I have never met anyone that came to Vietnam and left and said, listen, never again. This was a terrible experience. It's safe. You have different climate, different seasons. I can't find any fault to Vietnam. It's such an incredible country. It's a must visit for anyone, really, and returning. I think where we can do better is the repeat rate of visitations. But I see more and more guests returning now, so I'm very optimistic about the future of Vietnam and the hospitality, the tourism industry in Vietnam.
Yeah, we also happy to hear too.
Yeah. That being said, I think where we can do a little bit better, it is probably on the like many other countries do, is the mandate to preserving our surroundings, right? So we need to be mindful on single-use plastic, and lowering our footprint Of course, us hotelier, we have a big part to play. So in Hoiana Resort and Golf, we have eradicated every single-use plastic. You won't find a straw, you won't find a plastic bottle in a shower. We have large container shampoos. We don't do miniature, etc., etc. But it's really a mindset of the populations that needs to be focused on achieving this.
Yeah, sustainability, right? Yeah.
Right.
What legacy do you hope to leave behind your role here as Hoiana?
For me, the single biggest achievement or joy that this job brings me beyond, financial achievements or milestone, it's really seeing the individual grow. As I say, we have a very, very young workforce. 65% of our associates are below 30 years old. Most of them are coming from poor backgrounds, far provinces. They decided to join us. They gave us, the chance to be able to collaborate with them. And when I see them grow and bloom and finding their calling and wanting to become aspiring hoteliers, brings a lot of joy to me. So I hope that my legacy would be to have created a platform or space for individual talents to grow and develop and bloom into future hoteliers.
All right, Mr. Jimmy, so thank you for your sharing today. It's very lucky for us to have you here today. Thank you, audience, for follow video postcard of LUXUO Media. And see you again.
Thank you very much, Jason. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for
Thank you.
the listeners.